is not in the correct spot. I want my arm to be framing on his neck. So let's say that we're here. There's kind of three positions that he'll be when he has his knees down. He's going to be pressuring forward and putting a lot of weight. He's going to be sitting back, right, and putting weight on his heels. Or he's going to kind of be neutral, or he's kind of like right in the center. So remember that if they're too far forward or they're too far back, we're going to do the same thing. We're either going to go too far forward, or we're going to go here. If he's too far back, we go here, right? So if he's too far forward, right, I can easily bridge him over that way. Using my underhook that I have on my right arm. And since my left arm is not in the correct spot, and we're just going like this. And if he's sitting back, we're going to go the opposite way. So if he drives forward, right, I block. I'm going to use my bicep, and I'm going to do a little bit of a bridge and end up on top position, right? If he is sitting back on his heels, right, which means that the weight is on his heels, it's a lot easier for me to block his knee, use my bicep on the opposite side. So I was here, now we're going to go here. And I block, and I come over the top. So we'll start with that. 2 knees down, weight forward, weight backwards. So 2 knees down, weight forward, we go this way. And you'll notice that I'm using my bicep on his lap to bridge him over, and then I push my base to put more pressure on him. Or if he's sitting back, I want to make sure that when he sits back, I'm blocking this knee, so I'm kind of bridging up to bring my armpit here onto his knee. And then I can just cross here using my bicep and blocking his base. And then I hop over and I can end up in that same spot. So this is very specific. 2 knees down, pressure forward, pressure back. Same type of thing like we're using like a bus driver, right, with our arms. Okay? Any questions? All right, 1, 2, 3. When we're here, right? If my arm is in a bad spot, I need to get my arm back in front of his neck. But if I just bend my wrist like this and try to go in front, I'm probably going to get wrist lock when he sprawls and puts pressure on me. Put pressure? Yeah, it's going to cause trouble. So you want to think about jamming your fist underneath and then framing right there on his throat. Now, I think once we're in this position, we always show bridge and snake, right? Bridge, snake, and bring your knee in. But sometimes it's not very successful, right? So we're going to change the approach a little bit. So I want you to bring your arm over the top, and we're going to go a gable grip like this to control his shoulder. So now that I have his shoulder controlled, it's almost impossible for him to remove that left arm to start to attack me. And that right arm, when he tries to go for like Kimura or Americana, it's locked in. So I'm basically attaching myself to Artem. And we're gonna basically go to like a single leg. So what I'm gonna use is I'm gonna frame here. And instead of using my elbow, I'm gonna use both my hand, my forearm, and I'm gonna frame like this, right? So I can, in combination of me framing and bridging, this creates a lot of space. Just a little bit of space, right? So now I can pummel underneath. So once I'm here, I need to immediately shift his weight over like that. But here's the thing. If I stay here, he can step over and go straight to mount. So think about that when you're training. If they don't have your leg, you can just step over to mount. So I have it over the top. I don't want to go here because it's hard for me to push with my wrist. I like to go like this so I can frame. So I create space. Sometimes you don't need to bridge, but if there's no gap here, you're gonna have to bridge and then create space. And then once I'm here, I'm gonna bump him and I'm gonna shoot for this leg. So I go low and I go low. So now when he tries to step over, it's gonna be really hard for him to do so. And notice how my left elbow is blocking his ankle. Because if my elbow is not blocking the ankle, he can start facing me and sprawling on me and then breaking my grip. But if I keep my elbow here and I block, now square up, I have good control. And now from here I can start building my base, and I can do one of two things. I can go for a knee pick, right? Or if I like wrestling, I'll just stand up and then take his leg with me, right? If he ends up standing up, you just go for a takedown. So I want to focus on that gable grip and frame. So I get my frame in front, right? We're going to go for gable, right? Boom, boom. I like this. You could do this. It's just a little bit weird here. So I'm going to bridge and frame here. I want to create that connection. And I'm staying tight to Artem, right? Artem attacked me from here. It's really hard here. And when he starts to move around, it might even open up like an elbow knee escape. If not, I frame, I bridge, and there's my gap. I pummel under, I go low and I block. Right? My head's towards his ribs, and my elbow's blocking his foot. Now I can start building on my base. If I like to trap his foot, I can, or I can just go to my knee pit. Or I can just come all the way up, and if he comes up with me, that's fine. Just go for your takedown or whatever you like from there. So it's the frame, right? So this is not wrong, it's just a little bit rough. I like to keep it straight and then start to frame in like that. Then I can start going in and then creating my frame. This is what I want, to get his weight off me. Because even if he puts all his weight on me, right, this is easy for me to create the space. It's hard for me to do this because he's going to be looking at my knee. So when I start bridging and snaking, he's going to be covering and countering, or he's going to be, when I snake out, he blocks my hip with his hand or with his knee. So here is a little bit different. I create space. I can bridge, come underneath, go low, connect my hands, build on my base, and then take him to his back. So it's just an alternate way to get to that single leg when you're kind of pinned on the bottom position. Okay? Do you want to see it again, or we feel good? Okay. So if you have difficulties with the frame, you can just start here, right? We're going to go on the palm. I create that space, right? Create that space and bridge. I underhook, and now I'm going to scoot real low and go down towards his leg, blocking that ankle. I can build up my base. Sometimes I like to go dog fight where I'm trapping his foot, or you can just go straight to this, or use your head, drive up, and then you can go for your takedown from there. Okay? Any questions? All right, 1, 2, 3. Right? Once he starts dropping, if I turn without creating any frames or anything, I'm giving my back up. Right? So if you know you're going to get past and you need to turn, think about this arm right here. So if he goes, right, I can control this arm here. So controlling this arm, he could grab my neck with his left hand, but it's going to be a lot harder to maintain control because I can roll out, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to control this wrist. I'm going to build up to my shoulder and I stuff it to my hip. Now I can do like a small guard recovery and face him, right? And it's easy for me to get to triangle or whatever the case is. So when he goes, I look at that. I'm too far, right? He stuffs it, he drops his weight, I control. I stuff it to my pocket and then I recover. And now I can start to go for my triangles or whatever I want. If you control this arm, this will help you because this is also the arm that's going to control my hip, right? If I control the other arm, right, and I'm here, he can still block my hip, yep, and now I'm going to be stuck. You see that? And Heisman is going to be hard because I still don't have connection. It's going to be really hard for me to break this connection. So think about wrist. Gi or no gi, it's the same. He goes, I'm lost, I'm here. Put it into my back pocket. So I go from here to here. Now I can switch my grip and then recover. It's an easy way where maybe your partner's too fast. Maybe you thought your guard was better than it was. This happened to me many times. I feel like, oh, I'm not going to get past it, and all of a sudden, they're right here. So you can turn away with something. He goes, right? I go, put it in my back pocket, and I recover. Easy way to recover. We've shown before, like the running man. So he goes to side control, right? Well, we're kind of like this. It's the same thing, right? I'm blocking him from putting weight into me, and then I'm kind of spinning out like that. It's essentially the same thing, but we're connecting with our partner a little bit better. So one more time, he goes, I connect, back pocket. And now I push off my left foot, And I'm doing like, instead of inverting onto my neck, I'm gonna do a roll this way. So I'm not really inverting, I'm just like spinning on my side. I'll go again. Here, here. I'm not really inverting. I'm just spinning like a top on my side, okay? Questions? Yes, Al?
So any tip on, when it's time to abandon, knowing he's gonna pass? Was there a tip that you can provide?
So to do this position?
To switch to that?
Yeah.
Because most people are
So-
focused on still.
So what I see is, once he starts passing my legs completely, passing my hip line, once this gets past my hip, if I cannot frame, and I don't have any frames here, and turn in, that's when I have to turn away. If he's controlling this, and then when he starts dropping, I need to turn away. There's a point in this position where maybe I can get here, but if I don't have much connection on him, I'd have to get my grips, get my spider back, and keep him in front of me. It's too fast sometimes. So if they're moving faster than turn the corner, and I can't create space here quick enough, I need to just turn away and then control that wrist, right? Then I can switch and recover. So if you can't frame and your partner's coming in too fast, you turn away, control that wrist, and then you can invert. Okay? Any questions? All right, have fun. 1, 2, 3.